Hi, Janice. Can you hear us? Hopefully you can. We're just getting started. Sequoia joined us a couple minutes ago. Yes, she can hear us. Awesome. Okay, great. So let's get started. Today we're talking about self-advocacy and why it matters and how you can help your student encourage it in your student. I'm Lola. A little bit about me. I have a degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Massachusetts. I have been teaching and tutoring ever since college. I started in college and fell in love with it and continue doing it since. I was a teacher at a local high school for a couple of years and then decided to do tutoring full time. And in my free time, I spent my time with my puppy Loki, and I take care of my houseplants. I have a lot of houseplants. Let's get started. So this is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what self-advocacy is, why it is important, what you can do, and how we can help. And then I'll go over any questions that anybody may have. If you have questions in the middle, if I'm not clear, please feel free to interrupt me, no worries, or you can keep your questions for the end. It's all good. So what is self-advocacy? Self-advocacy is the ability to communicate to others about yourself and your needs. Children that self-advocate well and students that self-advocate well tend to do better in school because they get the resources that they need. What does this look like in elementary school or middle school? It can be a student raising their hands and asking for help or asking for clarification. In high school, it can look like students emailing their teacher asking for a study guide that they lost or asking for clarification on a test or anything like that. And in college, it can be students reaching out to counselors if they have questions, their professors if they have questions about the grades or anything like that, or even asking their professors for summer job opportunities and things like that. So it's just really being comfortable reaching out and asking people for what you need. Why is it important? Students that self-advocate are able to do much better because they're able to get the resources that they need. So those students who are comfortable raising their hands and asking for help or asking for clarification do better because they get that clarification. It will boost their confidence. They go hand in hand, but it will boost their confidence, and their independence so much because they don't need to be helped as much. And of course, their problem solving skills. What can you do? So fostering self-advocacy in your student and your children is tricky, because we go from caring for them completely 100% to hopefully we get to a point where we're completely hands-off. And ideally that happens right around the end of high school, right when they're turning 18, so that in college they don't need you. And of course, some children, that happens faster. We have juniors and seniors in high school who are completely on their own. And it can happen a little later sometimes. Some parents are involved with their college level children, and that's totally fine. But that's kind of the goal. And so the goal is to be consistent. It happens in small steps. It's not just like a huge step of you're on your own one day. So it's a lot of little steps, and having your student or your child start doing things on their own. What does this look like? For young kids, It can be talking to their teacher on their own about something that they don't understand. It can be talking to their doctor and explaining their symptoms on their own. That's a great place to start. Little things like that. So involve your children in problem solving and decision making. Little decisions, little daily things with your small children. What do you want to wear today? What do you want to eat for breakfast? Little things like that. Encourage your children to ask for help always. If you know that your middle school child is having problems with a specific course, don't have them go ask the teacher for help. That really helps them realize that it's okay. Their teachers are really there to help them. Encourage your children to speak up for themselves. And this is true with their relationship with adults, but also their relationship with children, with their friends, with their peers. If there's a problem with a peer, have them fix it first, have them try to fix it first before getting involved or before getting the administration involved. Oopsie, I missed some. There we go. Talk with your child about self-advocacy and why it's important. You don't need to do this behind a curtain. You can absolutely talk to your child about what we're doing and why we're doing it. Especially with if you have a student that's having a hard time with it. You can talk to them about it and say, look, you're going to college and I'm not going to be there every step of the way. So you need to learn to send those emails. You need to learn to ask for help when you need help. So have those conversations and explain why it's important to make that shift from you as their adult, as their parent doing everything for them, to them doing everything for themselves. Offer praise when your child self-advocates. This is so important. This is the biggest thing. We have a new player. Chris. Hi, Chris. I hope you can hear us. We are a little bit down the line, but if you have any questions at the end, please feel free to ask. Where was I? Oh yeah, offer praise. This is the biggest one. We really want to tell our kids when they're doing a great job, when they're able to speak up for themselves, when they did send an email or go ask for help or do those things. Tell them, this is awesome. This is exactly what we've been talking about. This is great. You're doing great. I really think positive reinforcement is the best way to go. And then involve your children in decision making. Let them make decisions. Let them decide. For instance, I have a bunch of high school students going through this right now. If your student is figuring out if they want to take the regular math class or the advanced math class, let them have a say. They know themselves, they know their capabilities, and they will make the right decision. And if they don't, that's not a big deal either. So really have your children make decisions for themselves. And of course, decisions should be age appropriate. But yeah, that's also a great way to foster self-advocacy. Oopsie. That is it for today. Does anybody have any questions?
Hi, Lola.
Hi, Sequoia.
Hi, I had a question since I have a daughter and she's always been really, really shy and she has a hard time speaking up and she has a hard time asking for help and communicating with her friends and her teachers. So I just wanted to know, how can I encourage her to advocate for herself when she's so deathly shy and doesn't want to talk to anyone?
Yeah, so that's common. And of course, children can be shy, especially around adults. In that case, I would really have her rely on email. I find that for children that are shy, sending email removes them a little bit from the situation, and that makes it a little easier. So yeah, that would be what I would encourage. If I were you, I would encourage your daughter to email if she has a problem with a teacher or something like that, and she's too shy to go talk to them directly. She can email them. And typically, when she sends the email, the teacher might speak to her in person. And that might make her feel a little bit more comfortable, because it's hard sometimes to go up to a teacher and ask for help. But if they come to you, that might be a little easier. So that would be my recommendation. Email is a great way to go. And if you're in a situation where you can't do that, like at the doctor's office, writing everything down and having it on a piece of paper. I know that I was a little shy when I was a kid, and sometimes everything that I wanted to say, I would just forget it. It would just like leave my brain. So if you have it down on a piece of paper, you can remember all of the things that you want to talk about. So those would be my advice for your daughter. And we have a second question from Janice. At what age do you think it would be good to teach your child self-advocacy? Great question. They're never too young. They're really never too young. You can start your 3-year-old. You can start by having them decide, do they want an apple or do they want a banana? They can tell you, I don't want a banana because I don't like bananas. That's great. They're telling you, they're communicating with you their preferences. And you just go from there. I honestly think it is never too early for children to talk to their doctor and explain their symptoms on their own. As soon as they can talk, they can explain what hurts. And I think you should start that as soon as you can. And it's never too early to talk to their teachers. Your children are going to have teachers until they're 22 years old. If they stop at a bachelor's, if they get a master's or a PhD, they're going to have professors for a really, really, really long time. It's important that they're comfortable. Reaching out to their teachers and professors. And I would start that in first grade. I would encourage your child to ask question. If they don't understand something, raise their hand. If they need clarification on a test, or like what is going to be on the test Friday, I need to know what's on the test Friday. Or if they had a bad grade, I had a bad grade, can we go over my test? I am not doing well in this class. Is there any extra credit that I can have? Anything like that, I encourage it like first grade, kindergarten, start right away, have your children comfortable. A lot of students are a little scared of their teachers. They're not comfortable speaking to them. And that's such a shame. Your teachers are there to help you. They're a partner in education. And the more comfortable your child is speaking to their teacher, the better they're going to do. So it's never too early. It's never too early. Great question. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions?
I had one more question about
Absolutely.
when it comes to tutoring. In your tutoring services, I know that self-advocacy, it comes a lot from, being at home or being at school, but how do you teach your kids self-advocacy when you're just in a tutoring session?
Oh, great. That's such a great question. So we, when we're tutoring our students, often do not have all the resources they need. So they lost their syllabus, they lost their study guide, they don't know what the homework is. It happens very often that I have questions. And I have my students write and send all of those emails. So if it's Monday and we know that they have a test on Friday, but they don't know what their test is on, I sit there with them and we draft an email. Dear Mr. Mackey, I know that we have a test on Friday. I'm unsure what the test will cover. Is it chapter 1 through 3, or is it just chapter 1 and 2? Blah, blah, blah. I have them draft that. I don't touch the keyboard. And I will help them because sending those professional sounding emails is a little hard at that age. So I'll absolutely help them draft it, but I don't touch the keyboard. I don't touch the mouse. They have to open the email, find their teacher's email address, write out the email and send it. That's one way. The second thing that I do for students that are a little or older, with the permission of the parents, I prefer to communicate with the students rather than communicating with the parents. Of course, I keep the parents in the loop of what's going on, but when I'm scheduling, you know, hey, we had to cancel our session on Monday. When can you work this week? I prefer to communicate with the child directly so that they know, so that they can talk to me. They don't need their parents to be the middleman. They know their schedule, they know what they need, and they can schedule me with me. So that's another way that I foster self-advocacy in my students. And I also always encourage them to ask me questions, so they can interrupt me at any time for anything. And I welcome it and I encourage it. If I'm explaining something and you don't know what I'm talking about, stop me. So those are little ways that all of our tutors foster self-advocacy in our students. Great question. Thank you. Anything else? Awesome. Well, let's end here for today. Thank you everybody for joining us. If you have any questions or need anything, you can contact us through the email or call us or drop us a line on our website or on our socials. We are all here to help your students succeed in high school. Wonderful. Bye guys.